Thank you so much for keeping it Y in the morning. My name is Ram Maguko, and you're in time for the very last conversation of the day. Now, today we are going to be focusing on Career Talk, how to prepare for an interview. How is it that you can prepare for an interview? What are the things that you need to do to win in an interview? This particular morning, this conversation is all about you. I know you've just finished your campus, you finished your courses. You want to apply for that job, but you need to know the mistakes most people do or most people make when they go for interviews so that you do not make the same mistakes. This conversation is for you. I'm joined by George Simiyu. He is an author, he is a trainer, and he is a HR consultant. Bwana George, karibu sana.
Thank you so much and good morning.
It's been a long time tangu tuwe na wewe hewani.
Yes.
Is it a year or 20 years?
No, just a month.
Thank you for finding time to join me, my brother.
You're welcome, sir.
Remember the hashtag as always is Y in the morning. Give us your take, give us your comments, questions at Ram Maguko, at Y254 channel. The hashtag is Y254 at 4. Make sure that you give us your thoughts in regards to this conversation. Now, even as we continue towards the tail end of this show, we will be awarding the winner of the competition that we had last Friday. So what we did was, remember Y254 is standing for, and for being our loyal viewer, we gave out different gift vouchers for different people, bags, airtime, t-shirts. We gave out a lot of things for you. Now today we shall award airtime for one of our viewers or one of our listeners who has been participating with us. And the question that we had asked was simply to name Y in the morning presenters. She did that, and today we shall call her towards the end of this show to award her. In fact, naenda kumtumia tu pesa tu as we continue na hii conversation with Simiyu here. Apate airtime yake and we have to confirm, because maybe you think it is a lie. Today we shall show you that anyway Y254 is the place to be for all youths. And as we continue this conversation for youths, as we talk about preparing for interviews, ask your questions. George is here to answer your questions as we proceed. Now, Bwana George.
Yes, sir.
Let's start with steps to take before you go for that particular interview. And here we are assuming the interview has been confirmed. Tunasema you've been called for a Monday morning interview. Now, you are in the house. Let's start from there. From the house, kitambo tufike kwa your room sasa.
Which house? Your house?
Your house. Uko hapo hivi. Do we have any particular outfits for different interviews? Do we have colors that people need to look out for? Do we have any moods that people need to look out for? Preparing from the house, from the onset.
Oh, amazing. Allow me just maybe start from this point that a good application does not land you in a job, but just an interview. Let's start from there so that you manage your excitement. If you call for an interview, you just need to be aware that your good letter, your good CV, and all other testimonials that you've attached, already been asked to send in, they only land you into that job interview.
Not the job itself.
Not the job itself.
So umeitwa interview umefurahi.
Yes. You haven't gotten
job.
the job yet. No.
Yours is job.
Yes, your job. You've just been invited to present yourself, and now from there is now what will determine you leave the interview room as an employee or as still seeking for a job. Yeah. So that's what makes the difference. Key things we need to do before and during and after. I think that's what we just here to mention a few things.
Before, during, and after. Let's start before.
There are quite a number of things we always need to do before we go for that interview, and that is one, to do some research about the organization. Do you know the organization, that is its values, its products, services, values, objectives, strategy, and anything that concerns this organization, because that's where now you'll begin to be relevant to anyone who is going to interview you.
And that's how you can be able to know how you can, chip in your effort, where your input can be.
Yes. So before you go into that interview, I think you really need to do that. Just do some background check, or rather get some information in regards to that. It's very important.
And that entails making a few calls, Google searching that particular
Yeah,
organization.
nowadays most of the information is online nowadays. That organization, perhaps it has a website. You can go there and read some things, or maybe you have some people who've been or rather worked in that organization. They can share with you some important information. So those are some of the things you do before you go into the interview. Also prepare your outfit, as you mentioned when you started. Think of how will I dress. This is the organization I'm going into. So what I think is so important to them. So how you dress is very important. Plan about that. Also make sure that all the required documents are ready. Like if they mentioned
for documents, original copies or just a photocopy of that?
Well, all the employers, if not most, will always mention to you that when you're coming for the interview, bring us maybe the original copies of you, something like that, of your documents. It's needed at some point. So if they did mention that, please carry it. But also, if even they don't, there's no harm. Have them, because at some point somebody will want to verify, look at these documents. Okay. Well, there's another verification that will happen after that, doing the background check of you, but still just come with the original documents.
Now, George.
Yes.
We've checked your mic. I believe you're good now. So you're saying in regards to this, colors.
Yeah, how you dress matter, or how you dress into interviews matter. Because one, it shows how serious you are about this job. Yeah. I wonder why you should not take it much serious, or anyone, and realize these are serious kind of engagement you're going into. One, you have to think about what you'll put on. And this goes with the outfit, the accessories, and things like that. The colors that you're going for with. You don't go into an interview dressed up in a you look like a Christmas tree. You know, it looks funny.
How do you define a Christmas tree? I mean, a maridadi.
Yeah, maridadi mob and all that.
With a lot of decorations. You don't need that.
No, you don't need that.
Is it okay to
be modest?
Are there colors that someone should avoid?
Avoid shouting colors.
Kama gani? Although I know men are colorblind.
There are many. Yellow. You get it?
Avoid yellow clothes.
Yellow, purple.
Purple. Blue.
Blue is cool.
Red.
Maybe with a mix of something, but not entirely red. Yeah.
If a man comes with a red tie to an interview, is that
That's okay? That's okay. But imagine you're doing a red suit.
That's a no. For suit, look for black.
Yeah, look at the corporate colors. Let me just put it that way. Corporate colors, like most organizations, they can always show you what are some of the colors that they really appreciate and things like that. So if you're able to really look into that, then that's okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Corporate colors, we have maybe for someone who doesn't understand what you mean by corporate colors. What are these colors that appear or are corporate?
Like somebody say, you'll never go wrong with blue, black, grayish.
Nice.
Something a bit dull. Not like how you dress, I think that's awesome.
This is navy blue.
I don't know if you're sure, you know, men are. Huh? Are you sure that's navy blue?
Someone told me it is navy blue.
It's okay.
But corporate colors, and this is gray.
Grayish, yeah.
In gray, isn't it?
You know, so there are those colors that at some point they'll really draw a lot of attention on you. Like people are looking at, hey, okay, look at this guy.
Okay.
Yes.
So it applies for both men and
female.
Male and female.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
With us men, we don't have a lot of trouble with that because actually most of the men.
For a lady, if you're doing an interview, makeup, do they also have any effect on it? Is it okay to go there with colors? Is there a way makeup should be, especially for an interview?
If today you are invited to by the president to visit them, how will you do it? That's the question I'm asking that lady. Yeah, you'll want to look decent, your best. I think that is it. So you don't overdo it, and then you don't find yourself having something that you'll think you need to maybe add a little.
For someone who has certain color of hair. Utapata mtu ameenda akatengeneza nywele ya yellow, nywele ya blue. Are they okay? Iko sawa?
Well, now that's why I said, look at the organization. Do some, do they have people of that caliber in that organization? Like if someone came here, are you working with people of that type?
So
you
your
notice, yes, when you've done your background, you realize, oh, this is how they dress, this is how they do their grooming, and that's okay. But again, also goes back to the kind of a job you're applying for. Those jobs, they are very comfortable with it.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's look at your CV. You're preparing to go to that interview. How prepared, what are the things that you need to look into in regards to your CV before you go to that interview?
One, know your CV before you go into that interview. Inside out. Like, because we will just be asking you to establish, okay, whatever you said in the CV, is it true? So some people, maybe somebody prepared a CV for you and you even never taken time to look at it. So you'll be asked, oh, okay, Mr. Ram, we've seen you worked in this organization and you had this experience. Could you please tell us a little bit about this? Then you're wondering, okay.
How you have
So also this is my CV. And you're in the midst of an interview.
And some lie.
Yeah, some lie. So that's why even if you remember our last conversation, I mentioned something that don't lie. Be very honest.
Kama ujui.
Even in your CV. There are those things that people include there, but they don't reflect anywhere. Or rather, it's not them. Don't put them anywhere. Yeah.
Interesting thing there, because that is where the problem comes in.
Yes.
And whatever you're saying is not reflecting on your CV.
Yes.
So you are appear to be a you know.
And then that's how you lose the job. You know, your intention is to get this job.
Do we have? Should someone look at themselves in the mirror? Because I don't know if you do that, but many people do that. You look at yourself in the mirror. You talk to yourself before you go to that interview.
Yeah.
To just give yourself that emotional, psych. In terms of psychology, psychological preparation, what should someone do?
Preparation is very important when you go in an interview. How should someone want to go in a context without preparing for it? How do you expect to win when you're not prepared? Yeah. And now I think that now takes you back to that will help you build up your confidence. One of the things that make people lose these lose at job interviews, one is the confidence. And confidence is built up by preparation. So knowing what to prepare and how to prepare is very important. So part of it, as you mentioned, just really not rehearsing, because at some time even you'll sound you have rehearsed your answers in an interview. So it's not real.
You look like a robot.
Yeah, very plastic. but just real prepare well.
All right, let's enter the room now. Now you're in the interview. How should you handle yourself? They've just told you umegonga mlango, wakasema enter. Now here, this is Ram Maguko, ameingia kwa room. What should someone do?
Well, it depends with what type of interview, because interviews even start from the gate sometimes.
From the watchman?
Yeah, it could be even from the watchman. You thinking the interview started here when you enter the door. So I think you should just be careful.
What do you mean the interview started at the watchman? They okay, I don't know if I watch too much movies, but will they be putting like some undercover guy there to put on that uniform?
Well, somebody will be maybe just asked to comment about you. How was that guy when he came in? Like now the watchman, he was so rude. You get it.
Wow.
You get it.
So always be nice.
Yeah,
to
be
everyone.
nice to everyone when you're going to those interviews.
They could be the reason why you can either lose or get a job.
Yes, because you never know. Maybe even whether intended or not, maybe even the person doing the interview asks, okay, this guy came a bit late. What happened? Did he? Yeah.
Okay.
Like that. So the interview starts from afar sometime. Sometime now the interview is starting at the table now when you are in the panels. Now you just asked, now you go in the room. Depending with the setup, also that will influence how you start. Yes. Well, at some point, the interviewers, or rather the panelists, will lead you on what to do.
Should you, the first thing,
you'll wait for instructions. I think that is.
Do not sit.
I think it's just be courteous enough to ask if it's needed for you to sit. Come
Okay.
in. Of course, we're expecting you. Yeah. If that is, you are now in the interview room,
When
they'll
they
tell you, please have a seat.
usifanya makosa kwenda tu na unakaa tu.
No, but still you can just sit because actually they're expecting you. So, yeah.
So it's still okay, but have some courtesy
Yeah.
to wait for them to give you
Hi, my name
instructions.
is George Simiyu. I'm here for the interview. Can I sit, please? Say yes.
When it comes to answering the questions, what are the common mistakes people do when it comes, to answering questions in interviews?
Most people, they're not real sometimes. Like you've crammed some answers. You get it. Yeah, those common questions that we normally expect in an interview. Yes, but also I'll try to make them real. Sometimes you'll see an interview coach will tell you, hey, Ram, when you go there and ask this question, this is how you say. So you'll expect that question, and then good luck if it comes your way. Then you'll just see the way you're putting it. Hey, this guy.
What do you do when they ask you about the amount of salary you are expecting? Because they will say, okay, you've come, how much do you expect to be paid? And you have no clue, sema pesa ngapi.
You cannot have miss to have any information to say about that. When we say you're doing background check or not actually getting some information before you went for that interview, you at least have to do what we call a market research. People at that level, how much are being paid?
Let me give an example. For example, in journalism, people are paid differently. Not every presenter is paid in the same amount.
That's true.
So even those who are working in one particular organization, not everyone is paid similarly. So you will find so many different figures, and you will not know which one to choose. Should you go for the highest?
It's still okay. It's still okay.
Someone's
It's still okay. And now that takes us back to something else. Well, once you know how the industry is paying, that's very important. But number two, also know your brand value. You get it? So that you don't shortchange yourself. And that's why you're now mentioning that we have journalists who are being paid more than others because of the value they bring to the organization.
the brand.
Their brand. How much have you invested in yourself? And indeed, when we're interviewing you, we can say that indeed this guy will add value here.
Wow.
Because that also becomes your negotiating point. So do you know your value? Based on your experience, the skills you have, and things like that.
So is it also okay to just give a value that you feel exceeds your brand? Useme, I'm just going to give this value, niende tu juu akinipata kidogo pia ni sawa. You're gambling.
Well, but what should you do that? Why do that?
Could there be chances that you can actually be paid that amount of money?
If the organization has a budget that allows, and they can really see the value you bring in, they can pay you that. But still, it goes back to if like now you see these government jobs, it's already there is a structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just know this person will fall in job group, particular job group. That's different. But now, if it's in the private sector, perhaps that's where now you can negotiate.
When it comes to questions that are being asked, someone asked you a question, but as you started, you are still anxious. You're panicking. You're like, and then you give out a wrong answer, and then as you're answering the next question, you realize, or sometimes even realize it later on after you've asked. How best should someone answer a question in a way that makes them appear to be calm, confident, and composed?
Wow, amazing. One of the things that people lose is it's not wrong to ask for the interview or the panelists to repeat whatever you did not understand. Say, hey, sorry, Sam, I didn't get what you said. Please, do you mind to repeat?
Okay.
So that somebody can repeat it, you get it right. It's not wrong.
It's not wrong.
Some people will not get it, and they'll just go ahead to answer because of fear. they're anxious, kind of they are panicked. Then also if you feel you're not calm, you're not composed, tell them that I feel a bit nervous, but I think I'll be able to really get hold of myself as we move on.
Is there a way you should stand once you've entered the room? A particular position?
Stand.
As you're standing there, how should your arms be, your hands, where should they be?
There is no standard way of standing anyway, but just look modest. At least look composed. I think that's the best term.
Okay.
Look composed. Somebody who has confidence. Yeah.
During an interview, you have been put in that chair, and you're asked a question about your referees, and how best should you respond in regards to the referees that you put on your CV?
Question on referees, whether they are there or not.
Yes, yes.
Well, if they are there, then it depends on the type of question I'm being asked. Maybe they want to contact them, that's okay. Unless you have some issues with them, that's when maybe you'll be a bit more hesitant. But now that takes us back to what we mentioned when you were talking about referees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on after the interview now. So you started before, during, now after?
After the interview, I think that is very important for you to keep in touch with your employer or the person who is who had an interest in you. That is, you can maybe even just send an email to them and tell them, oh, thank you so much for giving an opportunity to really show you who am I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate your presence. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
I hope we've touched on everything. Because of the interest of time, I cannot be able to read all of your comments. I'm seeing questions have come, and I believe you've managed to answer all of them. Do you have, maybe can give you 10 seconds to have a final word to someone who is preparing for an interview before I make that call to our winner?
Amazing. Prepare well for these jobs. Jobs are there. So what makes the difference is how prepared you are and how you sell yourself in that job interview. That's what will make a difference when you leave that room as a person with a job or not the job.
All right.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. So